meditation practice. Spiritual Awakening Radio is a non-denominational program that explores the world of comparative religion, spirituality, interfaith studies, and sacred texts, East and West. It's unhealthy in a democracy for the media, including radio, to be dominated by one or two religious voices, as if they are the only ones that exist, and no other faith community or point of view matters. If the religion spirituality section of a bookstore was like the radio airwaves are in most places, only one or two books would be found there. The shelves would be mostly bare, covered in dust and cobwebs. No longer being content with the empty silence, I began recording my own programs. There's not just one religion, there are thousands. After years of being concerned that too few voices, too few points of view were getting heard when it comes to spiritual paths and world religions, that the radio airwaves were not reflecting the diversity that really exists, I started producing my own programs, exploring the world of spirituality, comparative religion, meditation, mysticism, education for a more peaceful world, bringing to the airwaves the gentle voices of saints, the wisdom of masters or mystics, world scriptures, the great spiritual traditions and classics of the East and the West. There is only one time when it is essential to awaken. That time is now. That's a passage attributed to the Buddha. It's attributed to Lord Buddha. The Philosophy of Liberation by Maharishi Mehi Paramhans is published in the United States by the Sant Mat Society. The website for that is thewayofsages.com. Philosophy of Liberation is the first book in English featuring the teachings of Maharishi Mehi, founder of Maharishi Mehi Ashram. Maharishi Mehi Ashram also publishes this book in Hindi, and there is an English edition available in India as well through Maharishi Mehi Ashram. Maharishi Mehi's lineage is the lineage of Param Sant Tulsi Sahib of Hathras. The lineage began with Tulsi Sahib. After Sant Tulsi Sahib were several guru successors, including Baba Devi Sahib. Maharishi Mehi was the chief disciple and spiritual successor of Baba Devi Sahib. Veena Howard, who is the translator of Philosophy of Liberation in English, was initiated into meditation practice by Mehi, and tells me that more writings from this same lineage of spiritual masters will become available in the West as time goes on. Indeed, there are a couple of other books that have been translated by her. Well, she wrote a wonderful scholarly book on Gandhi, but there's also a book from the Mehi lineage called Harmony of All Religions by Swami Sant Seviji Maharaj, with chapters on Jainism, Buddhism, the Sikh tradition, Judeo-Christian tradition, and of course Hinduism, as well as Islam. That is a beautiful book. That is a wonderful book. And there is a new book called The Inward Journey of the Soul, translated by Veena Howard into English, featuring the living writings, the contemporary writings of Swami Vyasanand Ji Maharaj. That's a wonderful book on meditation practice and the teachings of the Sant tradition of India. Some new things that have never made it to the English language before are found in all of these books, actually, including the new one, The Inward Journey of the Soul. The website for all of those, of course, is thewayofsages.com. The Tulsi Sahib group, founded by the great master Tulsi Sahib of Hathras, branched out in several directions after the passing of Tulsi Sahib. To this day, there is an ashram in Hathras. There is another ashram in Lucknow and a few other ashrams near Hathras, India, presided over by various gurus. And Maharishi Mehi's branch of the Tulsi Sahib group is by far the largest, with several hundred ashrams scattered across northern India and even a few in Nepal. Philosophy of Liberation by Maharishi Mehi is an intriguing book that provides some surprisingly technical details about meditation practice. Anyone interested in developing their own successful daily meditation practice will greatly benefit from the wisdom and depth of Philosophy of Liberation, as it systematically covers all aspects of the philosophy of the path and the technical details of spiritual practice, rarely ever seen in print from any source outside of India. This book is definitely not light reading, and that is precisely what I like about it. It is quite literally the manual of Sant-Mat, one of the best books ever written that has appeared in the English language about Sant-Mat, mysticism, spirituality, and meditation. I appreciate its complexity because, you know what, people that write Hallmark greeting card slogans that are not challenging just to get popular, I just don't have any respect for that. You know, to have a different teaching for Americans than Indians, I just can't get into that. You know, I just don't care for that let's get popular in the West kind of strategy. You know, when it comes to Hinduism or Buddhism or Sikhism or the Sant tradition, we just want the original real deal, you know, not watered down for Westerners, not in special English, just regular English, you know, as it's supposed to be, unvarnished, the same as in India. That's the way, I think, to get the authentic Buddhism, the authentic Hinduism, the authentic Sikhism, and the authentic Sant tradition of India too. You just want how it's the path as it is and how it has been for all of these millennia, from the time of the Upanishads up to the living present. Not two different spiritual paths, one for Westerners, kind of the slow lane, if you will, or special English, and then another more advanced version for those in India. We just want the advanced version, thank you very much. The pure original teachings, the faith that was once delivered to the Sants, or the saints. There are several techniques described in the Philosophy of Liberation, the specific details of which are taught to students at the time of their diksha, or initiation into the practice. 1. Developing a daily routine, the habit of meditating at the same time or times each and every day. 2. Proper posture, so that one is truly focused at the third eye center, remaining alert and awake during meditation. Slouching back in an easy chair, you feel all fogged in and fuzzy, whereas if you're sitting up straight with back straight, you know, you're focused. You can be relaxed, but you're focused. And it's a whole different manner of sitting. Posture does matter. 3. Manas Japa, also known as Simran or Zikr, a mantra repetition of a sacred word or words done mentally, with the tongue of thought, within yourself. 4. Manas Dhyan, the technique of mentally visualizing a form of the divine or one's spiritual teacher. 5. Dristi Sadhana, the technique of focusing upon an infinitesimal point in the darkness lying in front of you. This point will eventually blossom into inner light or visions of light. One gazes into the middle of the darkness or the light one sees while in meditation. Think of the infinitesimal point as being like a laser pointer or a cursor, keeping one focused. One passes from scene to scene and vision to vision, within vision, always looking toward the center. 6. Nada Sadhana, also referred to as Surat Shabd Yoga, the yoga or meditation of the inner sound current, the yoga of the audible life stream. And 7th, reaching the state of Kaivalya, oneness with the Supreme Being in the purely conscious realm. The ultimate goal of this form of meditation is to merge into the upper level of Kaivalya, the state beyond sound, referred to as the soundless, and by others in other branches of the Sant tradition in India as Anami, or the nameless, soundless God without form, beyond the worlds of form, lights, and sounds. A formless state, also described with terms such as Anadi, or soundlessness, and Anurag Sagar, the ocean of love, which is my favorite. God is the ocean of love and all consciousness. Beyond the realms of lights and sounds and forms, beyond the realms of deities, beyond the world of time, space, and thought and theology, a pure state, an ocean of souls, or the Supreme Soul. The poet-mystic Tulsi Sahib describes it this way: there is a being who is inaccessible, Agam Parush, unfathomable, Alak Parush, and nameless, Anami Parush, and who has no location, and is not confined to space. Tulsi Sahib also used Sufi language, the language of love, or bhakti, to describe this timeless spiritual state of oneness as the abode of the beloved. Excerpt on meditation practice from Philosophy of Liberation by Maharishi Mehi Paramahansa. A comfortable pose of sitting, or posture of keeping the head, neck, and trunk straight and steady, is a must for meditation. Without the ability to sit in such a steady posture for prolonged periods, meditation cannot be successfully practiced. Meditation should be practiced being alert without being drowsy, closing one's eyes comfortably without turning the eyeballs or pressing them in any way, just pausing to interject. There are some traditions of meditation where individuals do try and turn up their eyes as if they're trying to physically see their third eye with their eyes, with their left and right eyeballs, which is kind of strange to look at and kind of creates some tension on the eyeballs. Maharishi Mehi is saying here, don't bother to do that. The third eye is a spiritual eye. You don't need to physically change the location of the gaze of your physical eyes as if to see the third eye. Don't need to do that. Just be comfortable. No pressing of the eyeballs either. There are some traditions that do advocate pressing the eyeballs. And if you do that very gently, it stimulates the optic nerve, which causes a kind of flash of light. But it's cheating. It's not real mystical light. It's just, like bumping your head against a wall, or you're pressing your eyeballs, or spinning around getting dizzy. You might see stars, but they're not mystical stars. It's just the eye, just a physical thing. So no need to do that either. Just be comfortable. Be nice to your eyes. Be gentle. Gently with your eyes closed, staring into the darkness. No strain or stress whatsoever. Maharishi Mehi. The practice of meditation should be an essential part of the practitioner's daily routine. The preferred time of meditation is called Brahma Muhurta, very early in the morning. Brahma, God, Muhurta, hour, the hour of God, very early in the morning, 3 a.m., before the sunrise. The Sikhs call this peak spiritual time of the morning Amrit Vela, the hour of elixir. Likewise, one should meditate at mid-morning and then again in the evening time. While falling asleep, one should also engage his or her mind in a brief period of meditation. So actually 4 times a day really are advocated by the Maharishi Mehi branch of the Sant tradition. Morning, midday, in the evening, and then again as you're drifting off to sleep. Now, I have read another spiritual successor of Maharishi Mehi by the name of Sri Bhagirath Baba, describing that fourth meditation, that brief meditation just before dozing off to sleep, just before falling to sleep, as potentially having positive effects on your dreams. If you can fall asleep in meditation, although that's a bad thing generally speaking in most traditions, if at the time you are getting ready for sleep, if you meditate briefly and then drift into sleep by way of meditation, sometimes it can positively affect your sleep. Wouldn't it be great if all sleep was enlightened sleep, a higher level or spiritual sleep? That's 6 hours a night, right? Wouldn't it be nice to have that sleep time transformed into something higher, something better, something that is on a spiritual level, at least more so than otherwise than it has been in the past? This technique is about doing that as much as possible. Just do your spiritual exercises of manas japa, or repetition of your sacred word, manas dhyan, visualizing the divine form that is your ideal, most likely your spiritual teacher, and going to sleep that way, or contemplating inner light and hearing inner sound also, as a way to spiritualize your sleep and end the day in a spiritual way. Light and sound are within you. Just further elaborating on the meditation techniques and the whole goal of meditation. Those interested in the health benefits of the relaxation response are learning to use meditation, of course, to reduce stress. Christians searching for a deeper spirituality are finding through meditative practice a way to reconnect with their lost contemplative heritage. In recent decades, spiritual masters from Asia have introduced techniques to Westerners who have been yearning to find spiritual fulfillment. Many these days are discovering the wonders of inner space. There is much more to meditation than stress reduction. Meditation can also serve as a tool for inner exploration or enlightenment. For the mystically inclined or the Gnostic soul, meditation can even be a portal to the divine, or as the Sufi poet mystic Rumi once said, open a window to God. This inward journey, the mystery of the kingdom of God within you, has motivated millions to practice meditation for much of recorded history. Most of that history has been recorded in India, that great subcontinent, former continent drifting in the Indian Ocean that became part of Asia eons ago, known as India. Meditation is considered a doorway to the divine, a portal to the spiritual realm, a way to enter the kingdom of the heavens. Meditate each and every day. The kingdom of God within you is bigger than the universe on the outside. And you know that's saying a lot, because we know the universe is like 40 or 50 billion light years wide. You know, it's about 13.5 billion years old, but has been expanding rapidly in all directions. So the diameter of it has greatly grown, well, way beyond 13 billion light years. You know, it's at least 40 or 50 billion light years. And that's just this one bubble universe alone. There could be other bubble universes out there. In fact, we may be living in a foam of bubble universes. It's a very, very big universe. Although spiritual masters do say the entire physical universe, or multiverse, if you'd prefer that term, is but a drop in an astral ocean, which in turn is a drop in a much bigger spiritual ocean. So it's really mind-blowing, well, way beyond anything we might be able to conceive with our minds. The name of the program is Spiritual Awakening Radio, and after the break, more on the spiritual philosophy of liberation.